offer to pay such a sum. I'd been in business for 2 years and now made enough to support myself, but not enough to throw around that kind of money. Part of what puzzled me about the offer was that people don't collect things like they had in the past. Millennials didn't want old china sets or silver or Hummel or Yadro figurines like their parents did. God forbid if something didn't spark joy. Boomers who were downsizing complained a lot about the prices they were getting for their prized possessions. That made me circle back to my original thought. How the heck could Zoe, who had just started her Zoe's tag sales business 3 months ago, offer to pay Alice that much money with no guarantee of making it back? Alice had explained when she hired me that if someone would offer that much for all of her things, individually, they must be worth much more. Unfortunately, it didn't always work that way in the world of garage sales. I'd explained that to her and put it in writing when we signed the contract. Alice said she understood. I just hoped she really did. She might have more confidence in me than I did myself. We moved on to the next painting. Thank heavens my assistant, Harriet would be helping me the day of the sale. She was a former FBI hostage negotiator, and I'd seen her in action. One time, she'd actually gotten more for a piece than the original asking price. And I'd seen her talk the price of a Tiffany bracelet down at the thrift shop until the woman had almost given it to her for free. An hour and much discussion later, it was time for Carol and me to go. We'd finished pricing the last 10 paintings. I'd never had a client hover over me while I priced. It was exhausting, and I was starving. Time to do something about both. I pulled up to Paint and Wine, or Paint and Wine with an H, as I liked to call it, at 2:45. I called it that because Carol listened to me complain about life when I needed to vent. We had known each other since I was 18 and had both been military spouses. Our husbands had both been stationed at nearby Fitch Air Force Base. How did you know the painting Alice had was done using that, what did you call it, alla prima technique? I'd read up on the artist, but didn't remember that bit about him. I've met the artist a couple of times at events. Alice thought you were a genius. So did I, for that matter. Carol laughed and opened her door. I am one. Thanks for your help. Anytime. She has some nice pieces. It will be okay. I nodded, but I wasn't sure about that. I picked the absolutely worst time to walk into DiNapoli's roast beef and pizza. I looked up from my phone just in time to see a stray round of pizza dough flying through the air. It landed on my head, draping like a doughy wedding veil. "I'm sorry," a deep male voice said, hint of a Boston accent. Someone lifted the front of my pizza veil, and I gazed up at a man with deep brown eyes, a boyish, charming face, and a look of horror. I blushed like a bride. I'm the one who's sorry. I'd ignored the closed sign hanging on the front door because DiNapoli's was never closed to me. In my defense, the door was unlocked, but I'd forgotten that Angelo had decided it wasn't enough for him to cook. He needed to share his talents with the world. Angelo had started giving cooking classes weekday afternoons. Apparently, today was Pizza Dough 101. Angelo and Rosalie, the owners of DiNapoli's and my so close we were almost family friends, rushed to my side, as did the other 4 attendees. All had caught their pizza dough and deposited the rounds on pizza pans before heading over. I could feel a bit of dough on my cheek. Charming guy held the dough off my face with one hand and reached over and swiped the bit off with the other hand, murmuring another apology. I blushed some more, wondering how I would ever get the dough out of my hair before my date with my boyfriend Seth tonight. Maybe the dough would just blend with my blonde hair, like chunky highlights. Rosalie looked at me with her warm brown eyes crinkling in concern. Are you okay? Everything but my pride is fine. I glanced again at the newcomer, who was still holding the dough off my face. Maybe if we all take a side, we can just lift the dough off her hair, and it wouldn't stick as much, Angelo suggested. Most of the people moved out of my line of vision, but I could feel...